how to use Blue Factor and how to get the best out of it without having to oversize your devices by 500%. Come to our webinar free on 3rd of October at 12:30 to 1:30 on our website. Register for that free webinar and I'll explain everything to you then. Until then, here's some interesting news. First of all, the landscape of any previous area doesn't matter. For 1 hectare landscape or 1 square meter of landscape in a Blue Factor model, the results are exactly the same. You see this reduction 78, 63, 60? The reductions are exactly the same regardless of how big your landscape is. So if your site has a larger amount of landscape, or even if it has any landscape at all, you can use Blue Factor instead of storm updated or SU calculator, because the SU calculator actually calculates the landscape. Second of all, if council only wants this number here, which is the total nitrogen reduction, you're better off using the Blue Factor, because Blue Factor significantly overestimates the total nitrogen performance. So in a variety of locations, you see that on a project, TN reduction expected for the same devices by Blue Factor is higher than SU calculator, which is very comparable with music. So Blue Factor overestimates how much reduction you have, which means that you'll be able to get away with a smaller device. If you only care about this number here, well, you'd be shafting the environment, but we don't really care about that. We care about if the authority accepts what we're doing. Conversely, if you're required to achieve all targets under no circumstance, in my opinion, well, should you use Blue Factor in the Melbourne water area? You see all these colors are the Melbourne water colors. And with Storm Updated, you achieve your targets, 83, 61, 45 here. And with Blue Factor, you fail your TSS something here, 65%, right? Reduction versus 83, 67 versus 86, and 65 or 67, right? So for a project such as this, if you want to use Blue Factor instead of SU calculator, your 300 millimeter EDD BIOS should be oversized by 560%, your 100 millimeter bio by 500%, and your rainwater tank by 233%. And if you say, Mircea, but how do we know SU calculator is same as music results and we won't get rejected? No council has ever rejected my reports, and if anybody ever does, please let me know, because they're not gonna do it. TSS 83.6 on SU calculator, 83.8 on music results, which is within stochastic variation, 45.3, 45.3 on SU calculator and music results, which is right on the money. 45%, 46.9. So SU calculator is a little bit conservative, not by much. Again, roughly within stochastic variation, 86.6, 87.1 again stochastic. So to summarize, there are other issues, but to summarize roughly, if the council lets you get away with that percentage, that's only total nitrogen, use Blue Factor. You will be shafting the environment for sure, but you'll get away with a far smaller treatment trade. If council asks you for Blue Factor reductions for TSS, TPTN, I mean, you can use it, but please don't use it, because you're gonna cost your land developer 500% more, roughly, or 560 more land when you use the bioretention. So I'm looking there 438%, 500, 417. So anyways, you will have to build 4 times or more bio than if you don't use Blue Factor and you use SU calculator or a corresponding music model. SU calculator provides music models, so fine. I personally wouldn't get too comfortable with using Blue Factor, because I have a sneaky suspicion it's not going to be around for long, but use it as much as you can if it can provide help with your projects. And please come next 3rd of October, I think that's a Friday, between 12:30 to 1:30 to our webinar, and I will teach you everything I found out about this Blue Factor thing. and help you get the most out of it as long as it's still there.